that sat on them benches. I never talked to them boys that sat on them benches. I was in the game on 4th and inches.
What is going on, everybody? It is your boy Polk, a.k.a. a.k.a. the goddamn truth, and we are joined again by Mr. Kelvin Hunt, built for Playmakers, and it is another episode of the Hangover over here. And today, I think we got a lot to talk about today. They got a new O-lineman out of the portal. They're doing some things on recruitment trail at this QB position, which is pretty interesting. So I want to get into that. And yeah, man. So let's not waste any time, Mr. Kelvin. How are you doing today?
Man, doing well, man. Doing well. Hump day. Tomorrow is my Friday. So off on Fridays during the summer at work. So it's always a good time during that time of the year.
That's actually good. Today was my last day of work, so
just rub it in, why don't you? I was trying to throw a little shot like I'm gonna be off in one more day. And you're like, I'm already off. Like
already off.
That's what's up.
That's good to hear. Glad you're doing okay. Before we get started, as always, man, hit that like button and subscribe if you're not subscribed. And share the videos, man. Get the word out. Let everybody know that we are live, and y'all know how we get busy over here. And also go check out the Built for Playmakers podcast. By all means, go check that out. Kelvin, he dropped some good gems over there, man. And one more thing before we get started, we're gonna do a quick roll call in the chat real quick. Let everybody know we in here, and then we ain't gonna waste any more time. We're gonna get onto the topics at hand for today's episode. Raul Torado in the building. No Blooded. Red Solo Cup. Priscilla Chestnut. Raymond James. Panama Jack. Timmy. Shamar Woodard. Jalen. Brandon Brazier. Marcus Lewis. And by all means, keep trickling in the comment section. 31 people in here. That means we should have 31 likes. Last time I let y'all get away with it. Last time it was Kelvin's first time on the show, so I didn't really pay too much attention to the likes. I wanted to keep the show moving, but we got off the show last week and had like 20 likes. I had like 40 or 50 people in here, so that's not going to happen this week. We're going to get the likes up this week, I promise you that. So anyway, Dimitri Emmanuel, 6'2", 306-pound grad transfer, so he is a senior with 1 year of eligibility. He's already graduated from Charlotte. The man has played, from what I was able to read up on him, he played left guard, left tackle, right tackle at Charlotte. So he's a versatile pickup. I thought this was interesting. Under his 1 year playing under Alex Atkins is when he had his best production. His PFF grade was a 69.1, and he had a 76.5 pass blocking PFF grade, with only 7 QB pressures allowed in that time span. So I thought that was pretty interesting. His production did get, I won't say it got worse, but it did decline once Alex, obviously he took the job at Florida State. So what are your thoughts on this pickup on Dimitri Emmanuel?
Yeah, man. Well, first of all, I see Marcus Lewis shouting me out in the comment section. So doing well, man. Hope you're doing well also. Appreciate you for tuning in. Yeah, I thought it was a good pickup, man. Obviously, the relationship with Atkins was big, I'm sure. Getting a player that that's physically ready to play, you have experience with, you probably already know his strengths and weaknesses. You know how he can fit into the offense. A good pickup. Probably can be depth. I wrote a piece the other day, and they want to have like 7 or 8, 9, hopefully guys that can get in that rotation. Getting somebody like Emmanuel, gives them pretty much 7. I think, provided that, everybody comes back. I think Washington, you had to have a little procedure done, but as long as he's healthy, you're at 7. And so then that kind of gives you some more flexibility and hope, from another set of guys, your Schraders and your Willises and Estes and a couple other guys. If you can get 1 or 2 of those guys that maybe show up and give you some snaps here or there, you got 8. And that's kind of what you need to be successful. So, it's a good pickup, man. I was excited for them to get it, and it kind of gives them a little bit of momentum, so to speak, as we get ready to head into the summer months. We talked about it last week. These summer months coming up with these officials and these guys coming on campus is going to be big. So it kind of gives them a little bit, not huge, but it's a good sign at least that they got a new pickup, and he's already enrolled. I think the school officially announced him today.
He's already on the. If you check up the FSU official roster, he's already on there.
Yeah. So they announced him today. So yeah, he's official. So yeah, it's good stuff.
Okay, yeah. So to kind of piggyback off you, I like to pick up. Obviously, definitely a depth. I think he's going to be the starter at right guard. Marcus put out. He added a interesting comment here. I personally, this is just my personal opinion without really any insight. I don't think Darius Washington is necessarily hurt. I honestly think they want to, if they can, I think they want to sit him out of here. I think he's a guy who they've had to play. Remember, Darius Washington has been here 4 years. He was in Willie Taggart's first class, so he's a 4-year junior. And but he's never had a real off season because he was forced to play. He was forced to play year 1. Then he was dealing with shoulder injuries that kept him out of getting real off season workouts. And then he was hurt this off season. Remember, he didn't even play in our spring game this year. I think they want to, because I think Darius Washington is one of the better offensive linemen on this team. I would argue he might be the second best under Robert Scott. But I also think he's a guy who's still under 300 pounds, and I think he's a guy that they want to get him in a proper nutrition weight. They want to have a chance at that, and I think that's why you added Dimitri Emmanuel. And if you guys aren't aware, there's still 2 other offensive linemen out there that they're trying to add. The guy the young man out of South Carolina, and then a JUCO prospect. Who's like 6'6", 330. So they're still trying to add big bodies, and I think if they can land one of those 2 guys, I think that even further kind of goes to my opinion or my hypotheses that I don't think they're trying to play Darius Washington this year. I think they're trying to sit him out if possible. Obviously, if they have to play him. Obviously, the good thing about Darius Washington, I do think he's one of your flex O-lineman. I think he's a guy who can probably play every position on the O-line if asked to do so. So Dimitri Emmanuel, man, I think that's a good pickup, obviously. And I think he starts at right guard. I was having questions of who was actually going to take that right guard spot anyway. I think Bless Harris will be playing right tackle this year. So I think he, and I think when you look at that offensive line, man, you're talking about redshirt senior Dylan Gibbons, redshirt senior Caden Lyles. Now you got redshirt senior Dimitri Emmanuel. You got a experience. You got a lot of seniors. Bless Harris is a redshirt junior. I know he has played at a lower level, but he's been in college program for a little bit. Robert Scott's coming into his 3rd year of playing football. You got an experienced offensive lineman that I don't know if there's really any excuses, right? What's your take on this offensive line going into next year?
Yeah, absolutely. You got grown men up there. That's what we've been missing. You got grown men up there. Like you said, I think Emmanuel had something like 1,500 snaps or something, 24 starts while he was at Charlotte. I would agree with you on the Washington take also. Like you said, he's been hurt the whole time. just of what we talked about last week. You got guys playing too early, getting hurt, and they spend all that time rehabbing, can't lift, all that good stuff, and it's just rinse, repeat, and that's why the line just hadn't been able to get better, and so that's why they've really gone to the portal for the offensive linemen. And you're kind of going to get to the point where you have all these freshmen coming in as well. And I know I'm getting off topic a little bit, but you having all these freshmen coming in as well. The Armellas, the Richardsons, and so forth and so on. Having these grown men this year playing is going to allow them to develop, get stronger, get bigger this year.
Absolutely.
And they're not thrown into the mix and getting, ragdolled or getting hurt. And so that's when you're going to be able to start seeing that continuity on the offensive line take off. And then once you kind of get a foundation set, which they kind of did with that class last year, you can kind of start building some things. And so they're going about it the right way. But yeah, you're absolutely right. There should be no excuses this year. You got grown men up there, you got experience up there. You're probably going to add one or two more, hopefully, which will give you even more depth and flexibility.
I wouldn't mind getting both of those targets left. I think it's more likely they get one or the other.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think so, because you kind of have to look at it this way too. They got some key guys in the 23 class they're looking at. You don't want to bring in too many guys.
Yeah.
And they start looking at a depth chart like, hold on a minute. But again, with Emmanuel, he's only got 1 year, so you're going to lose, Gibbs after this year, Lyles after this year, so there's going to be some opening spots too. So, no excuses, man. Those guys should be better, should be average,
at least, right?
Kevin Samuels, average at best,
right? average. So you just get average. Jeffrey Bell says, as it sits today, what are you giving the O-line? I'll let you go first on that.
Oh man, I mean, we hadn't even seen the starting lineup yet of exactly who's going to play, so it's kind of hard to give you a grade. I mean, if I just had to say, right now off the top of what I think they could be, I mean, I think they could be, if you say no injuries, God forbid, I think they could be above average, especially in run blocking, which is, that's what Norvell is going to do a lot of anyway. So if they can run the ball, that's going to set up everything else. So I would say if they, no injuries, everything in a perfect world, I would say above average. Let's say C+, B-, just right now. But of course, we have to see who's at what position. Can they work together as a team and all that good stuff. What you think, Polk?
You pretty much kind of said everything I was going to say for the most part. It's hard in late May, early June to really give it a grade, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I can't grade the O-line for what it is. What I can grade is the bodies. We have more depth than we've had in a long time. I mean, we just named Robert Scott, Dylan Gibbons, Lyles, Emmanuel now, Bless Harris. Still got Zane Herring, Darius Washington. We still got Maurice Smith there, Thomas Schrader. I haven't even got to the freshman yet. Bryson Estes, like I said, I haven't even got to the freshman yet. Lloyd Willis is another one. Rod Orr, still haven't got to the freshman yet. And now we get to the freshman, Julian Armella, Jalen Early, Charlton, Richardson. I mean, when's the last time we were able to say we had that many scholarship guys on that offensive line like that? And not just a bunch of throwaway guys either, but Mella, legit, top 150 player, if I'm not mistaken?
Mm-hmm.
Jalen Early, legit 4-star blue chip. Rod Orr was a 4-star. So they got not only guys, but they got quality guys. It's just a matter of developing them now. So I would give just the bodies like a B to B+. I might even argue A. I don't think I'm exaggerating on that. Now, how they actually play come this season, that we have to wait. But if I've seen Alex Atkins the first 2 years put in work, I have a lot of confidence that not only are they going to play, but play well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Also, I mean, if you look at it too, like you said, Washington hadn't had an off season. Smith was playing too early. You got all these guys that are playing way too early, and Alex Atkins is still working magic with these cats, man. It's crazy to see that they've gone from just getting destroyed. Quarterbacks running for their life. Now, granted, Travis is still running back there a little bit, but still, you can at least count on him to have a pocket here and there and to be able to run the ball. So, yeah, I mean, developmental wise, I think Atkins is for sure going to be able to develop these guys as long as he stays, as long as he's here and
as long as somebody doesn't come pick him up.
Right, for sure.
Do you anything left on Dimitri Emmanuel that you want to take note of, or you want to put out there before we move on to the next topic?
Nah, man, I was good. I'm good on him. Like I said, a good pickup. Think he's going to help big time, and like I said, it should give them a little bit of momentum. Hopefully, going into these summer months as they get these prep guys on campus, and we see what they do. So,
I do got one question before we move on.
Mm-hmm.
Are you concerned with his measurables at all? They list him at 6'2", 306.
Nah,
really like 6'1".
Nah, not really, because like you said, he's probably going to play guard anyway.
Yeah.
And so as long as he, length there is not as important as it is a tackle. So as long as he can anchor and move some guys, he'll be fine.
I'm with you there. All right. Let's talk about because Panama kind of mentioned it, and I vehemently disagree with you, Panama Jack, with all due respect. He says, this is what I don't like sometimes about Mike Norvell. He seems to be going after bodies and recruiting. We don't need another QB in the 2023 class. I wholeheartedly disagree with you that we don't. Not only do we not need another QB, this is not necessarily on Parson. We have a chance to do a little better than him if we recruit the right way. And that's going to lead us to our next topic. I think it was yesterday, if I'm not mistaken. FSU offered two quarterback scholarships, and Ricky Collins, who's actually committed to Purdue currently, but he's a 6'2", 190-pound quarterback at Baton Rouge, which is weird that he's committed to Purdue.
Mm-hmm.
But he's a 4-star. He actually has a 92 overall grade on the composite. Nationally, he's 176, so he's right outside the top 150 player. He's the 12th overall QB in the nation, and he's the 13th player in the state of Louisiana. And he's also an Elite 11 finalist. And then they also sent out an offer to Brock Glenn, a 6'2", 195 quarterback out of Memphis. Now, he's a 3-star only. He has an 88 composite grade. He's right outside the top 400 nationally at 428, 23 overall quarterback, and the 15th player in the state of Tennessee. The interesting thing about Brock Glenn is he actually earned an Elite 11 final invitation in the same competition that our current quarterback commit was in. So he actually beat out Chandler Parson to earn an Elite 11 invite. Now, there's still a chance that Chandler Parson can still be invited to the Elite 11. But as of right now, Chandler Parson is not a part of the Elite 11.
Chris Parson.
Chris Parson. I don't know where I got it. I don't know why I said Chandler Parson. Sorry.
Yeah.
But yeah, Chris Parson. Right now, he is not officially invited. So before I get into Parson's aspect of this, let's just talk about these two prospects. I don't know if you were aware of them too much, or what are your takes on the two guys that they offered?
Yeah, man, I hadn't had a chance to look at too much footage on either one. I did get a chance to look at a little on the Collins kid since they've already scheduled an official visit with him. I was like, boy, that was quick. He got an offer yesterday and got, a 247's reporting an official visit scheduled. So the interesting thing is Collins is the higher ranked kid. Like you said, 4-star, but only 16 offers. Glenn's a 3-star and has 32 offers. But both around the same size. Both are kind of similar.
Similar build. I was surprised that there was like similar build like that.
Yeah. So, but looking at Collins and they're kind of similar to Parsons in a way. Collins can, he can throw it, he can run it when he needs to. But I think like Parsons though, he's still throw first, run when he has to or needs to. But I think Collins has a higher upside. He's already taller. He probably isn't quite physically maxed out yet. Has a cannon, which we know Parson has a cannon too, but I think Collins has a little bit more upside there. Like I said, I hadn't really had a chance to look at Glenn yet, but I mean, if he got, I don't want to put everything on just a one-day competition with the Elite 11, but I mean, you got to be good if they're going to send you an invitation to that when they only choose 3 guys out of ever how many were there.
Yeah.
And I think I read that. Let me see. I think Collins is. I'm looking on 247's thing now for accolades. They have him down as an Elite 11 finals roster.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, 2 good pickups. 2 good pickups. 2 good offers, I should say.
Yeah.
If they can land either one of those guys along with Parsons, I mean, yeah, they absolutely need 2 quarterbacks because you only have 3 scholarship guys on the roster right now, and only one of them has any real experience. And he probably could be going after this year. So, yeah, you need depth for sure.
Okay.
What you think?
So I was aware of Brock Glenn before I was aware of Ricky Collins, and I've always liked what I watched from him. I've actually watched him more than Collins. I still need to really go pay more attention to Ricky Collins. And I know Brock Glenn doesn't have the ranking and all of that. Look, man, I know Chris Parsons is our current quarterback commit, man. I've always been outside of his arm, which I do think he has a big arm. And FSU Tony, he's in here. And me and him have had conversations. He could tell you my feelings on Parson. This isn't just like, we got 2 new offers, so I'm changing. No, I've always kind of been reserved on just how good I think he really is. I like Brock Glenn a lot. Now he's the prototypical quarterback type, right? Pocket passer type guy. Like I said, I need to watch a little bit more of Ricky Collins to really get a feel. You made an interesting point when you're like, Collins is the higher ranked guy, but he doesn't have the same amount of offers as Glenn, which is interesting. And it is always interesting when you see a guy out of Baton Rouge committed to Purdue. But I would wonder why Collins only has 16 offers, but he's in the top 176, and then he's committed to Purdue. Why isn't LSU? I mean, he's right in LSU's backyard. Why isn't LSU pursuing him? Maybe another SEC school like an Auburn. Why isn't some other teams more interested in him? Could be concerning. Again, we don't know the situation, but I think that's an interesting dynamic to his recruitment. Why is he committed to Purdue right now? I think is interesting.
Yeah, for sure. And especially when Arkansas was his first offer. Then it was so Arkansas, Memphis, Virginia Tech, then Purdue. Pretty much, they all offered on. Let's see, February. Yeah, Arkansas was first, Memphis, and then Purdue came like 4th or 5th. One thing with LSU, it could be the coach changed. The old staff did offer him, under Orgeron, but like you said, they got a new coach there. So, But again, still, you would think that, they would be on him if, like you said, the ranking was what it is. And with him going to Purdue, I did watch an interview with him. And he said that the reason why he committed was it felt like a family atmosphere, and he was comfortable there. And they basically laid out the red carpet and all that good stuff. But then at the end of the interview, he was like, well, how firm are you to the with your commitment to Purdue? This is like in March now. So what 3 months ago? And basically he was like, I'm 100%, yada, yada, yada. But then he kind of slipped up. He was like, well, if something better comes along,
he's not sticking with that. I don't see him sticking with that. I'm not saying he's coming. I'm not saying he's coming with you, but I don't see him sticking with.
Yeah, he was like, well, if something better comes along, and then he kind of caught himself like, oh, that ain't sound good, Then he was like, well, I'm not saying there's something better, but I'm committed to Purdue. That's kind of how he ended it. And I was like, oh, okay, yeah, So maybe he was just like, look, let me go ahead and get a spot. I got a spot here. I liked it there, but something else comes up, then I'm gonna be all over it or whatever. So I think that's how that went.
Do you know what date he's scheduled for his visit?
Nah, I didn't see the date. I didn't see the date yet, but I would assume it's going to be probably in June. Yeah, June. It seems like they're trying to get everybody in early June or late June. I know a lot of guys are going on the I think it's the 24th weekend.
I think they have camps almost every week of June.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll see if it's updated real quick. I'm looking on here now. Let me see if they got it updated. But yeah, it is interesting though. Like you said that Glenn has almost double the offers, but he doesn't have the ranking. And sometimes those rankings, it depends on if you've gone to a lot of camps and all that good stuff. And being that Glenn, just got invited to the Elite 11, I'm sure he'll probably get a bump of some sort whenever they update the rankings next. So that would be something to pay attention to.
This is what I predict is going to happen to Glenn. If you remember, Luke Altmaier was a 3-star. FSU offered him, he committed, and then boom, he skyrocketed. That seems to happen a lot when Florida State lands these guys. They skyrocket in the rankings. I think something similar is going to happen like that with Glenn. He's going to go to this Elite 11. I think he's going to perform well. I think he might even commit to. I think they say. I think a Mississippi State is the favorite for him right now.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
He might commit, and then all of a sudden he's a 4-star in like the following week. So I don't know if Brock Glenn remains a 3-star. So
I think he'll get a bump. And then to be fair, those two predictions for Mississippi State are both from Mississippi State insiders, and they were on March 28th. So that's a little while ago. But they were on the 8 and the 9 confidence, so they.
That was also before the FSU offer. So
yeah.
I believe Glenn was on Florida State's campus in March.
Yeah, he was, and from what I heard, he liked it. So
I heard he liked it. I heard they liked him.
Yeah,
I'm going to kind of bring us to this next point. I believe the old saying goes, "Where there's smoke, there is fire." You keep hearing every time more quarterbacks come up that Parson doesn't, not saying he doesn't want to compete, but he seems to get skittish when FSU starts talking to other quarterbacks. It's happened when they were talking to the 5-star I think he's out of Michigan, right? Dante
Moore, yeah.
He got skittish. Then he took everything FSU off social media all of a sudden, and everybody was speculating, oh man, what's going on with Parson? Well, this came back up again with the offers of these new quarterbacks. It was also put out there by, it's rumors, so I don't know how reputable it is, that Parson was also watching A.J. Duffy very closely. If A.J. Duffy was a little bit better than anticipated, that maybe he would. So I do think all this stuff coming now, like I said, I think where there's smoke, there's fire. Now, how big is the fire? Is it smoldering or is it ablaze? Don't know yet. What do you think? Do you think Parsons is worried about competition? Does he want to be the only quarterback in this class?
Well, I think there's got to be some truth to it. Otherwise, he wouldn't have had the direction he had initially. You know what I'm saying? I mean, there's got to be something to it. Because if you think you the man, it don't matter who they're gonna bring in there. You know what I'm saying? You confident? Hey, I'm gonna go compete. That's what alphas do. And so when I saw these offers go out yesterday, I ain't gonna lie, I did go straight to Twitter. I was like, let me go see real quick, see if there's a reaction or whatever, but there was none. So, but I mean, he's in a tricky spot too, though. You got to look at it this way: if he is skittish, and I'm not saying he doesn't want to compete, I hope he does.
Right.
But if he does get skittish, you got to look at it too, man. If he did this kind of to say he want to decommit, where's he gonna go? Because when you look at the offer list, I mean, I mean, you know, you got to compete somewhere, bro. And I mean, it's not like, you know, the Bamas and everybody's knocking this door down. So,
Exactly.
you know, I mean, I'm looking at it now, and you got Arkansas, Indiana, Kansas, Louisville, Miami, Cuse, TCU, Tennessee. So, yeah. So, I don't know, man. He's kind of in a tricky spot. Like you said, Duffy's, you know, probably going to be a player, more than likely. Then I forgot who I was talking to. Then if you look at the 24 class, not saying they're going to get him, but right. the Jaden Davis kid, you know, he's been on campus twice this spring. If they got him in 24, and they already got the other guy, the Kramenhawk guy,
yeah.
I mean, you just got to compete, man. You got to, I mean, and you got to understand too. You got to look at the roster and say, hey, man, we got to have two quarterbacks. You know, I mean, you got to be able to understand it as a quarterback. Like you got to be in a position that if somebody goes down, you got somebody next man up. Otherwise, you're going to be in the position FSU's been in for the last 4 or 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I don't know. I hope he's not. I mean, as of the last time I looked, you know, and there was no change in his profile or anything. I mean, he didn't put up anything like supportive either. It's been kind of silent, but
yeah, he's been kind of silent.
You know, so I don't know.
Recall the guys from the 247 saying that the staff has been upfront with Parson and that they do plan on trying to take another quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, at least they're being honest. I remember Nico was all for it, and then Duffy came and Nico bolted.
Quickly.
So I think this is an interesting development, man. It wouldn't shock me. I like you said, I would like to, you know, obviously they want to take two. I do think in today's day and age, I think it is a little harder to take two.
Mm-hmm.
But I think you got to look at it as like, okay, either I'm taking 2 high schoolers or I'm still going to take a high schooler and probably a portal kid.
Mm-hmm.
At some point, right? Mike's got to dip back into the transfer portal.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if Jordan Travis, he does have 1 year of eligibility after this, you know, but I don't know if, you know, I don't know how that plays out with him.
Right.
And best case scenario is it's still next year going to be Duffy, Rodemaker, and Jordan.
Mm-hmm.
And
right.
Whatever quarterback you take this year, so it's still not a deep room. Yeah,
no doubt. If I were the coaches, I kind of was looking at it and I was like, if I were the coaches, this is kind of how I would play it. If they, you know, obviously they want him and they accepted the commitment early. I would say you got to look at it. You know, they say, okay, well, we had the flare up back in whenever it was with the whole Dante Moore situation, and you know they smoothed that over apparently or whatever, had their talk or whatnot. You know, like you said, they're communicating that they got, you know, they want to take 2 guys. You could look at it and say, hey, look, you could still sell it to them and say, hey, look, you were the first guy we accepted.
Right.
We accepted you last year, bro. You know what I'm saying? If we want that high on you, we wouldn't have accepted your commitment last year. These guys, we just offered them. You know, we just offered them. You know, you're you know, you won't really be lying because I mean that's what happened.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, if you know, if he looks at it a different way, that might say something. That might tell you more about him. And that might tell you what you really need to know.
Yeah, I agree. I just wonder where the smoke with him comes from. I mean, like I said, for me, I think where there's smoke, there's fire. And every time a quarterback is mentioned, these reports come out, rumors, however you want to classify them, reports, rumors. But I do find it interesting that the perception of Parson is he might not want to be, he might want to be the only quarterback in the class and isn't happy when they talk to other quarterbacks. So.
Yeah, the other thing to pay attention to probably too is you know, I mean, he's been to campus once or twice this spring, which was good. You know, he still has his official visits to take and all that good stuff. You know, you would think as a lead recruiter, the quote unquote bell cow, you know, he'll want to be on campus when all the other high profile cats are on campus. But I hadn't seen anything about him and when he's going to set up that official either.
Right.
So, you know, that's something to keep an eye on also.
Has Parson taken any other visits? Because to me, that's where the stuff gets interesting. It's like you can't get mad and then you're taking visits. I haven't heard of him taking other visits.
I don't think he has. I don't think he has, especially not since he committed. I mean, he may have, but I'm not aware of it. So
I'm not aware of it either.
Yeah,
I'm not aware of it either. So Tyler says he hasn't taken any other visits. So okay, yeah, I haven't heard of him taking any other visits. So do you have anything that you want to bring up? If not, I'm gonna take some questions. So by all means, guys, put your questions in the comment section, and we're gonna start answering some questions.
Yeah, we can go with some questions. That's what's up. This is my favorite part. I like to see what everybody thinks and then go from there. Because
everybody was asking anything, but by all means, guys, got some questions, put in the comment section. I don't really see anything.
Panama Jack said the QB room is wide open next year if Jordan Travis bolts after this year.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's that's without saying pretty much.
Yeah, the good if he does, the only benefit, well not benefit, but Duffy enrolling early would be a plus, you know, if he redshirts this year. So you would think he would pretty much be the next guy in line, you know, but again, it depends on how much experience he gets this year, if he redshirts and all that, just how he looks, you know, if he does play and all that good stuff. So it may not necessarily be wide open, but yeah, you're not going to have much experience at all on the roster.
Right. Unless they take, you know, the portal's always an option, guys. And then you never know who comes. You never know who, you know, declares for that portal. But Timmy asks, at the end of the season, who do you think will have more rushing yards, Benson or Ward? I'll go first on this one just because listen, Benson surprised me in the spring, but man, are we just sleeping on Trayshawn Ward like we didn't watch him all year last year? And what did Ward finish with last year? I think five something and limited carries. I remember one game he had like 3 carries for like 60-something yards. I forget what game that was. I think we sleeping on Trayshawn Ward, guys. I think that's a good 1-2 punch. It wouldn't shock me because of Benson's size that he's more of the every down type back. But don't sleep on my guy Trayshawn, man. Don't sleep on Trayshawn Ward. What do you think?
Yeah, the thing with Trayshawn last year is I just pulled it up here, man. You know, he didn't have one game over, man, the Notre Dame game. No, I'm sorry. So the North Carolina game was the highest output he had, 77 yards. That's the highest he had last year. 12 carries, 77 yards. The interesting thing, though, is from the Clemson game on, he didn't have a game over 25 yards. And he didn't have any double-digit carries after the North Carolina game. Why is that?
I think Jashaun Corbin was pretty good though down the stretch, man. He had that run against Miami. He hit the corner. Like Jashaun Corbin was legit.
Yeah. So I guess the question is, if Benson comes in and he kind of takes that Corbin role,
you think Benson giving us Jashaun Corbin 800 yards next year?
It's hard to say, man. I mean, I think you know, as long as he's healthy, he would definitely have a shot at it. You know, I mean, again, we're going off of a spring game in practice. But it's possible.
And another guy we got to stop sleeping on is LT. Like if he's not there.
Yeah, Toy Philly is there for sure. So it's just going to depend on, you know, like you said, how they divvy up those carries. And there's no method to that madness either, because some games you would just like, yo, like you said, why isn't Trayshawn Ward getting the ball? And then there were games where I think Toy Philly may have been hurt at certain points of the year where he just disappeared. He disappeared, and then then he would pop up and do a miraculous play against Clemson. But yeah, Corbin was the guy that was kind of the mainstay, and I think Benson probably should be able to be a mainstay. He's strong, physical guy, 215 pounds, got speed. So I mean, either one of them could lead. It just depends on who gets the majority of the carries. I think if they decide to ride the hot hand and this Benson for the most part, then it'll be him.
Yeah. Tyler says, how do you feel if Robert Scott goes pro at the end of next year? I'll let you go on that one.
So after 22?
Yeah, I think he's
after this year.
Yeah, I think that's what.
Okay. Well, that would be the first O-line guy drafted since when? What's my guy?
Who's the dude that transferred from Northern Illinois? I think he was the last O-lineman we had drafted, if I'm not mistaken.
Did he get drafted?
He did get drafted. Late, I think.
Golly. Hold on. I can tell you real
quick. Could be wrong. But I remember NFL Ross. He may have signed as an unrestricted free agent.
Yeah, I think he was undrafted free agent. I think, but I'm not 100% sure. And his name is escaping me. Blame it on my age here. Hold on, I can tell you just a second. This is great podcasting, isn't it? No. So the guy I was thinking about was he got drafted, Rick Leonard.
I forgot about him.
That is the dude. That is the last guy offensive lineman we had drafted. Yeah, your dude from Northern Illinois was an undrafted free agent.
Oh wow, okay.
And then the year before that was Roderick Johnson.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if Scott goes and gets drafted, bro, I mean, that'll be the first guy drafted since 2018 from the O-line. I mean, that would be a positive. That's something you could say, hey, look, Alex Atkins developed this guy.
I'm gonna add a second part to that question.
Okay.
Because every mock I've seen, from what I'm hearing, the NFL scouts are actually pretty high on Robert Scott. I don't know if they're really high on him as a left tackle, but I think they're high on him. Do you agree with the hype?
Not that high. I mean, no, not that high. Now, if he comes out and he balls out this year, then yeah, it'd be granted, but not after what we've seen thus far. I mean, I like his measurables and everything, but not yet.
I've seen some first round mocks for him.
Yeah, well, hey, bro, the draft is all about potential, so
right.
It's all about potential. So who knows? If he goes out and have a good year, then yeah, it'll probably be more warranted. But as of right now, I'm from Missouri. You got to show me a little bit more.
I agree. We keep agreeing. Who's starting on the other side of Duke? I think I'll take the lead on this one. I think at the beginning of the year, it will be Ronaldo Green. But I think those freshmen are going to continue to have something to say about it as the year goes on. And it would not shock me. Remember Cooper didn't start at the beginning of the year, and he wasn't even an early enrollee.
And he was hurt and missed a part of fall camp too.
These two freshmen were both early enrollees. And I think they're going by mid-year to end of the year. It would not shock me if those guys were pushing Ronaldo Green out the way, unfortunately. But I think Ronaldo Green gets the nod game one.
Yeah, you're probably right on it. Because all the other guys, you got Knowles and Vance will probably be
your slot guys.
Be the slot guys, yeah. Green's a little bit bigger. But yeah, I like Thomas to start. I like Thomas to start mid-year, somewhere in there, mid-year on. That kid, he's gonna play on Sundays. Yeah. I like McCall too, but I think I like him more as a safety than I do as a corner. I think he can play corner, but I like him more as a safety. I like Thomas. I like Thomas and his length as a boundary guy, man. That dude legit.
I agree. Looking for another question.
What does the guy say? He said stop with the numbers. What is that?
He's saying Jordan Travis' numbers weren't that bad. I think he only threw like 3 or 4 INTs all season.
Let me take that real quick. So I actually wrote a piece. It's gonna post on the website tomorrow.
Okay.
On Jordan Travis, looking at this past year, and you're right. He threw 6 interceptions last year. The first 3 of them were in the Notre Dame game, right? Yeah. Then he had one on a Hail Mary against Wake Forest or somebody. He had the one that against Cuse where Cameron McDonald didn't block the guy. Then he had the one against Florida that shouldn't have been an INT. That was it. He took care of the ball, so that's a plus. He just didn't throw the ball enough. I think he averaged in the first few starts he averaged 20, 21 passes a game. Guess what? In the last 3 games, guess how many passes he averaged? 30.
That's when he started, really coming. Yeah, turning the corner, I thought.
Yeah, so what it was kind of like, and I wrote this thing last year, and I was like, could Jordan Travis be similar to Lamar Jackson? Not that he was as talented as Jackson or anything, but they got similar skill sets, and so. Of course, everybody was like, "Oh, you clown for writing this and blah 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 blah." But the point I was making is, for Jordan, it was all about being healthy and the coaching staff having the confidence to put the load on him. Because Bobby Petrino he gave the ball to Lamar and was like, "Hey, go do your thing."
He gave the ball to Lamar as a freshman and just let him.
Yeah. Lamar was giving FSU to work early on in that game as a freshman.
Yeah.
So you kind of saw foreshadowing what was coming. But you saw with Jordan last year, he didn't practice a whole lot, leading up to the season for whatever reason, whether he was hurt or whatever. And then, in the game, you were looking at it and you were like, what type of plays are they calling? Then there were certain plays where he couldn't even throw it to the guy in the flat. He just didn't have any confidence. I remember one throw in particular against Notre Dame, I was like, bro, what in the hell? Like my dude was in the flat and he threw it like 15 yards over his head. But then, you kind of saw him develop a little confidence. He had all the little short passes against Syracuse. And then you saw him hit some plays downfield against North Carolina, that is. And of course, he struggled against Clemson, but that's a legit defense. But then you saw him against those teams down the stretch, and they started opening up a little bit, letting him throw the ball more. He ran the ball more. He averaged, I think it was 17 carries a game in those last 3 games. And that's missing almost a quarter of the Florida game. So Travis can do something, man. He just got to stay healthy.
Don't have no excuses this year.
Yeah, he just got to stay healthy. And we talked about it last week. If he don't stay healthy, then it's on the staff because they knew.
Like, the injury thing, man, you can never predict, right?
Mm-hmm.
But just from a confidence standpoint, he has to know he's the guy now. And I don't think there's a threat behind him. Like, there's not a legit threat behind him.
Mm-hmm.
So I was saying pretty much after the season last year, I was intrigued by Travis coming into this year just for the simple fact of him having the mental that, it's finally my team. There is no James Blackman. There is no Mackenzie Milton. It's me. And Mike Norvell's only ever won games with me.
Yeah. Yeah, and there's something to be said for that too, man, because I remember when I was in college and I finally broke through. We're talking baseball, but it's sports. Yeah. When I finally broke through and became a starter, hey, the dude that used to be in center field, hey, it's over. Right. It's over. You're not going back, and he didn't, And I think that's what you see with Jordan. He seemed to be moving different even in his interviews. Like, he knew he was a guy, whatever. So, confidence is everything, man. When you start believing in yourself and you go out there and you start seeing some success, usually good things happen. So
I agree.
We'll see.
EMG, what's going on with you? He says, "Sup, fellas? Do you feel the D line will be disruptive consistently? What's on you?
You may take it. Oh, so I mean, against the run, yeah. I think they will. I think that they were solid against the run last year. I mean, I think they give up right over 3 yards a carry, which was a major improvement over the year before. The year before, they allowed 5.12 yards per carry, I think it was. So against the run, I think they will be. Got the same guys coming back. Got some established depth with Jackson and Malcolm Ray. Will they be disruptive passing wise?
Probably not.
Probably not. Not consistently. I think they'll flash against certain teams.
Right.
But probably not. The biggest thing is, and this is something Jimbo Fisher used to say. Everybody looks at sack numbers. How many sacks did you get? And sacks are great. Don't get me wrong, but he would say and this is going back to the word disruptive. How much pressure can you get on a quarterback? So maybe some of those sacks, some of those rushes don't turn into sacks this year. Maybe they're just pressures.
The key is, can you move the quarterback off his point?
Yeah.
You make your quarterback take his eyes down from downfield, and now he has to move around, try to reset. All of that is important. All of that disrupts an offense's rhythm, timing, and all of that stuff. So
yeah, and going back to the middle, the tackles. Now, if you can get some pressure up the middle, you might not get as much pressure off the edge. If you get some more pressure up the middle this year, then that'll kind of offset some of that, because the worst thing a quarterback wants is that pocket to collapse in front of him. You can't step up. So that's something to think about too. So if you get if you get
points in straight line, so
if you get Lovett and Cooper in there and get those guys to collapse up the middle, that could offset some of what you lost last year, possibly.
Don't forget, guys, hit the like button. And, hey, put your questions in the comment section, so we can keep the conversation going. But Peter C says D-line looks a lot bigger. He just rewatched the spring game. Okay.
Yeah.
So I think to answer the question about once again, you pretty much hit it. I don't think the sack numbers, I don't expect to be the same, right? Obviously. But you might collectively, you might have just as effective as a group. You might not have a guy that reached double-digit sacks, but you might have Briggs might get 4 or 5, and then D-Mac might get another 4 or 5, and I think Fabian had about 2 or 3 up the middle last year. So it might be spread out. You know what I mean? It might be spread out instead of Jermaine. What he had? What he finished with? 12. 12. Here had 7. So you might not see those guys, you might not see big numbers like that individually, but you just might see it more spread out amongst the guys.
Right, man. The craziest thing last year. A lot of people don't realize this, or for whatever reason, just didn't want to give him credit. Jermaine Johnson had 12 quarterback carries. Bro, Keir Thomas had 15.
Yeah.
And so if you look at it, the 2020 defense, now granted, this is, less games and all that good stuff. They only had 18 quarterback pressures. And then last year they had 44. And then if we want to go back and look at just a comparison year, 2015, I'm looking at it. They had 33 sacks and they had 26 QB hurries in 2015, and that defense was legit. If you remember, the 2015 defense was that carried that team, because that was the offense that had McGuire and Golson.
Yeah, I if you were watching me after the games last year, I might have been the only person that every week would come on here and say, "Man, I know Jermaine's really good, But you guys got to pay attention to what Keir Thomas is doing on the football field. I was probably Keir's biggest fan last year. The numbers, were one thing, but he was a disruptive force. Marcus Lewis says more likely to happen. Right, playing week 1, and you know who coming to FSU. One guy's actually enrolled and is actually a player, so that's who I'm going with. I'll let you answer that your way, Kelvin. But one guy was actually on the football team.
Man, I don't even want Wright to play week 1. Like, just stay.
Yeah, he won't need to.
Right? Yeah. Don't even play week 1. So, I've been on record, man. I've said it on my podcast. I was like, until Hill arrives, it didn't happen. It don't count. And if he don't, I was saying if he didn't come this past spring, I was like, I don't expect him to come. But some people are saying that it's possible that he'll be here this summer. So I will go with Wright on that one.
How do you think Jermaine is going to do with the Jets?
I think Jermaine, I wrote about it. I looked at all the guys that they were saying, were the top defensive ends, and of course, we're going to have some bias because we watch them every Saturday, but I did the same thing with Dalvin Cook and wrote the similar topic with Dalvin Cook, comparing him with McCaffrey and what's my other dude from LSU? His name escapes me. Yeah. And I was telling them then Dalvin's, he's going to be the best one. And looking at everything with Jermaine, total package wise, I think he's going to be the best defensive end.
You think he's the best one?
I'm not saying best one. I'm saying this first year he's going to have the most impact in year one. Some guys have a higher ceiling, but I think when you look at from a physical standpoint, coupled with instinct, smarts, I think he's going to have more of an impact. And I know people look at that and look at defensive end and say, oh, well, it's all about how many sacks you get, but it's not. It's about how you play the run, quarterback pressures, all that good stuff. And when I looked at him and looked at all the other guys, he just seemed to make the right play the majority of the times compared to the other guys. A lot of guys have disappeared here and there. And as far as just get off the ball, I think his get off the ball is better than all those guys. Hutchinson, when you looked at the 40 times, Jermaine's first step was way, way quicker than those other guys. So
I think Thibodeau had the best first step, I thought, but that's just me.
Yeah, with Thibodeau, can he stay on the field though? He always hurt. So your best value is being available.
Yeah. I think I was just talking about like his first step for me.
Oh yeah. I got you.
Thibodeau had the best first step.
Yeah.
But somebody question up here, and I actually just remembered it. Somebody asked, why is what's going on with Mike Norvell in the state of Florida? Why do you think, with the talent that is in this state? Like, I read something today, and we knew about the wide receivers being like maybe the deep in Florida's history. The running backs apparently aren't that too far behind this year either.
Mm-hmm.
So someone asked, and I forget who it was. I would have to scroll it pretty far, but they want to know what's going on with Mike in the state of Florida. What do you think is going on there? Why are we struggling in our own backyard?
Well, first, I think all the teams are struggling. All the Florida teams are struggling in their backyard. All the top talent continues to leave the state. But I mean, really, I think it comes down to just his staff, man. I said it after the season that he needed to make a couple of changes on the staff. You got some dead weight with guys on the staff. He didn't. So, that's going to fall on him as far as if this recruiting class doesn't shake out the way it needs to. They're in on a few guys. I know there's one running back. His name escapes me that I know they're on, and I think he's scheduled an official. Is it Singleton? Yeah, Singleton's from Orange Park. and but he's like the only running back that I think. I'm looking at it right now. The other guys from North Carolina, Smothers, and then the other kid is from Georgia, which they should be recruiting Georgia too.
Yeah.
Broswell. Those are the three guys that they're in on. It seems like the most, but yeah, man, I don't know. They got to win some games. They need some recruiters on the staff. Those are the two main factors, in my opinion. You just got to win games. You got to get some recruiters to go out there and recruit. What's my man on Twitter? I can't remember his name. I used to say recruit.
Yeah, recruit. Maybe we should start up a fake company and go public and see how that works out for us. You think that help us? I don't know.
Hey, we call that. I've been telling them. We got any Miami fans in here?
Probably. Oh, they might not be talking, but
they will be soon.
they are always lurking, and I just felt like taking that shot.
Yeah, we've been saying that for the longest though. So when you tagged me in the article yesterday, I was like, man, we've been saying it. You talking about you got all this money and you ain't signed nobody.
That's developing very interestingly. That story. Also coming to find out today that that so-called deal they had with the UF player was like a fake or didn't go through. Like there's some interesting stuff coming out of this Ruiz situation, but
yeah. Timmy said they don't need recruiters on staff; they need NIL money on deck. I will agree. There's been some shift in that, but you still gotta have recruiters to get people to campus and to get in the door.
Yeah,
you gotta have it. You still gotta have recruiters.
Marcus asked you a question directly.
I like Lawrence, man. I thought when he committed, I thought he was a good take. I thought he was a little underrated as far. I don't know what he's ranked right now, but I think he's a probably low 4-star. Ability wise, they got a lot of guys on the board though that they had. I thought they had ahead of him. So I kind of was like, well, if they're taking him now, what does that mean for those guys? Like what Polk said, you got a lot of talent in state that, we should be on. And for whatever reason, we were in a good position at one point for a lot of those guys, and now it doesn't seem to be the case. But I like Lawrence. I like him. Physical, strong hands. I think he could be a player.
All right. Nice. Mike, can you say winning solves everything? But I keep saying, and it's not that I disagree with you. But you have to, we keep saying winning, but we say you got to win to get players, but you got to have players to win, right? I always go back to that. What's the chicken come first or the egg? Like that's how we keep doing this thing, and it's like at some point you got to do one or the other. I don't know. Yes, winning solves everything, but you also got to have players to win. That's what we keep saying. So Tyler says y'all got to stop with this NIL. By all accounts, we have made competitive offers recently. I agree with you, Tyler. I think Rising Spear is coming to its own. I don't think it's as much as the NIL as people try to make it. I mean, again, they offered Amarius Mims a 6-figure deal from all accounts from what was being reported. I mean, maybe to Mayan King's point, hey, let's get out there and win a couple ball games, and we ain't got to worry about NIL being the excuse anymore. Thoughts on the JMU linebacker? Are you aware of who Timmy's talking about? Because I'm not.
Yeah. I think I forgot his name, but I know who you're talking about. He's getting offers from everybody. I think he would be worth a take for sure. I mean, he had 116 tackles last year, like 7 tackles for loss.
It's a JUCO guy, I'm assuming.
Hold on, I can tell you real quick. Let me look it up real quick. Let me see. But yeah, while I'm looking it up, he would be worth a take, man. I mean, I like Bethune and Deloach, but I think this kid is looking for a bigger opportunity and an opportunity to start like right away because I think he has 1 year left. So he's gotten some pretty big offers, I think, here in the last couple weeks. So I wouldn't expect FSU to get him, even though they were the first to offer him. When he got in the portal, I think that kind of tells you a lot. They were the first to offer him, and they hadn't even got him on campus or anything. So I don't even think you even heard him mention FSU in any interview or anything like that.
Oh, wow. Good. So his name is, what's his name?
It's coming up right here.
Come on, y'all. Keep the questions coming in the chat if you got them. If you don't got them, that's cool too.
Diamante Tucker Dorsey.
Okay, so Dorsey.
Yeah, Diamante Tucker Dorsey. So he was a 2-star recruit coming out of high school. Went to JMU, class of 2017. 5'10". He's listed at 5'10", 214, and it looks like Texas has the one crystal ball prediction for him, and that went in today.
Okay.
So and I think he's originally from Virginia too, though. So
okay.
Yeah, he's from Norfolk.
How many more guys do you think they add? We talked about it a little earlier about the offensive line, that we kind of think they might add another. They're going to try to, I think, add one more offensive lineman.
Mm-hmm.
But I know they were also in talks with the DB at Louisiana Monroe. That kind of seems to cool down, though.
Yeah, he committed to TCU.
Oh,
yeah, he committed to TCU.
So
yeah, he committed to TCU. They had another kid that went to Houston. I don't know, man. I don't know how much they want these guys. It's almost like, the guys that they brought to campus. It's almost like they are. They want to see them in person, get measurables and all the good. And it's almost like when they get them to campus, maybe they don't quite meet what they want or looking for or whatever, and they don't really seem to be all pushing out. It seems like when they see somebody in the portal that they want, they kind of jump right on them. Like with Pittman, they were all on him. Boom, commitment.
Yeah.
With Bethune, they were all on them. Boom, commitment. It's real quick. But whenever you see guys that have been in the portal for a long time, and you see them bring them in, it's almost like they're not that serious about them. So I don't know. I think they want to get a guy at DB, but it doesn't seem
necessary?
like not necessary. I think it would be a luxury to have if you could get one more guy that could come in and give you some reps. But the thing about it too is if you're in the portal and you've been somewhere and you want to come start, FSU ain't somewhere where you're looking at Cooper gonna start, or Robinson gonna start.
DB, that's kind of my thought on it.
Yeah, Dent's gonna start.
I don't mind them adding depth, but I say this about the portal all the time. A lot of guys are in the portal for a reason, and majority of them I think are in the portal because they want opportunities elsewhere to start. DB might not be that position you think you're gonna come over here and. We got guys. There's one position that even at our worst we were still recruiting. It was that defensive backfield. So
so I think that's part of it too. Those guys look at the depth chart and they're like, I can go over here. I can go to TCU and probably start. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know. I don't think it's necessary. I think it'd just be a luxury if they saw somebody that they could get and they could help. They take the role as a depth role.
Do you think Malik McClain will have a breakout season coming up? I'll go first on that because I want to piggyback off of Marcus's comment here on Malik McClain. He says Malik McClain reminds me more of Rodney Smith. I don't know why we keep quoting for KB. Look, guys, we kind of tend to of course, we all know who Kelvin Benjamin is. But we kind of pretend like Kelvin Benjamin was the dude out the back. Like he came into on campus the best wide receiver. Like no, y'all might forget the first. First of all, he redshirted his first year. He was pretty much not productive at all his first year of actually playing football. In the second year, he came along, or the second year that's when he had Jameis, right? Because he went pro after his redshirt sophomore. I think Kelvin Benjamin only played 2 years. Right?
Yeah, he had 2012 with Emmanuel and then 13 with James.
We know the name Kelvin Benjamin, so we put these names on a pedestal as if Kelvin Benjamin came in the greatest thing since sliced bread. Malik McClain was a true freshman last year and was asked to really kind of be the best player in that core. I know we have Ontario Wilson, but Malik McClain was the only 6'4", 200-pound receiver we had. So he was asked to be more than maybe asked to carry more weight than he was probably ready to carry last year. Let's just be calm. I think Malik McClain having a breakout season is going to come up to, do we keep Jordan Travis upright, and how far is Jordan Travis progress in his game? Because if those two things can line up, yes, I do think Malik McClain can have a breakout season. And by breakout season, if you tell me 500 yards from Malik McClain, I think that's a breakout season.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you. I was like, well, what was going to be a breakout season? Because when you go back and look at Benjamin's redshirt freshman year, he had 30 receptions for basically 500 yards and 4 touchdowns.
Yeah.
So if you said right now, you would get that from? Would you say that's what you're going to get this year? Would you say I'll take it for McClain? Yeah. All day. But then too, look at this though. If you want to talk about progression, and the possibility of him having a so-called breakout year, McClain had 16 for 190 and 2 touchdowns last year. So it's not out of the realm of possibility for him to get close to 30 receptions and 400 or 500 yards and 3 or 4 touchdowns. So it's not out of the realm of possibility, provided, like you said, the O-line, does what they do, and Jordan Travis does what he can do. So yeah.
Yep.
Rodney Smith is I think that's a good comp though. I think that's a good comp.
I thought Rodney Smith was a good player. I just think I don't know why I don't think did anybody ever compare McClain to Kelvin Benjamin? I'm pretty sure fans out there did. I never saw that.
I mean, I think the only person I've seen compared to Benjamin would be Johnny Wilson.
Yeah.
Because they're both 6'5", 230, can high point the ball, but probably got some drops too. Oh man. But no, I never saw Malik and Benjamin.
So if McClain can get 500, I mean, how many can what's a season that for Jordan Travis where you're like, because my thing is like 250 yards a game. I think that averages out to 3,000 yards in the season. If we can get 250 yards, and not even all passing, just give me 250 yards out of Jordan Travis on offense. Meaning, give me 200 throwing and 50 on the ground, and a rushing touchdown and a couple TDs. I think you're leading your way to a successful offense if he can do those things.
Yeah. So talking about the piece that'll be up tomorrow. If you look at the last 3 games and average it out, basically that's going to give, if he gave you that every game for those, like he did those 3 games, that would give him like 29, right over 2,900 yards and like almost 800 yards rushing. And that would be around 63% completion rate.
Come on, man. If Jordan Travis can do that for a season, forget 8 wins. I mean, seriously, they could potentially play for an ACC championship. Obviously, the defense has to hold up their end of the bargain. Mm-hmm. But if he can do that, 800 yards on the ground, almost 3,000 yards through the air. Probably over 30 total TDs. Yeah,
now the only problem, but, let's pump the brakes on that. To get 800 yards, that will require him to run the ball 17 times a game, which is what he did. That's what he averaged in the last 3 games
You
of the year.
don't want him to do that. Yeah,
but that's what he averaged in the last 3 games last year. 17 carries a game and 30 passing attempts.
You probably don't want him to do that. I would probably, but here's the thing though, can you draw it up to where he doesn't have to rush the ball as much, but he can break longer runs? I think maybe there's a way to,
Yeah, the biggest thing with him running the ball too, and I think he got better at it last year, was in 2020 he would just run and he would try to get the extra 2 or 3 yards and get destroyed by a linebacker or a defensive tackle. Last year he did a better job of avoiding those huge hits. He kind of got out of bounds when he needed to, so that was a good sign that he played smarter. Hopefully that'll continue this year coming up too.
Looks like another question from Timmy. Who is y'all's X factor for the offense, and who is your X factor for the defense?
I'll take that first. X factor on offense got to be Travis. I mean, because if he ain't healthy, then offense it's over. It's over. But if you take him away, if you say okay, take him away. If
some interesting answers now.
If Winston Wright is healthy, I would say between Wright and Pittman, because that's probably who's gonna be your go-to guys in the passing game. If those guys can be dependable, then that's going to open up the running game. Last year teams didn't even respect the passing game that we had because guys couldn't get open, so they could just stack the box and all that good stuff. But if you can prevent them from stacking the box, that opens up everything else. So I would say Pittman or Wright on offense, aside from Travis. Defensively, man, that's tough. That is very tough. I would say, man, that's tough. Probably I'll go with one of our linebackers. Let's just say Bethune.
Okay. So me, man, when I look at the word X factor, maybe I just look at it a little bit differently. So I think Pittman is going to give you what you expect him. I think he's going to be pretty much featured in the offense. And if Winston Wright's healthy, I think he's featured in the offense. So offensively for me, my X factor is Lawrence Todd-Philly, because he is so versatile enough that you can use him in the passing game. Some people actually think he's more of a receiver than a running back. I don't know if I necessarily agree with that, but I can see what they see there. I can see what they see. And he had that great wheel route out of the backfield against Clemson, right? That was like the play of the year last year. I think you talk about X factor for me. That's how I view it. So for me, it's LT, because if you can get Ward and Benson to just run the ball and be effective, and then you throw LT in there, and now you don't know if they're handing the ball off. He's rolling out the backfield. I think that to me that's the X factor there. And then defensively is a little harder because there's a lot of good players.
Yeah,
there's a lot of good players.
Yeah. Why are you thinking about it? I almost went with Robinson because him moving to safety permanently last year changed that defense.
Jamie's not an X factor because Jamie is a factor. He may be the best safety in the ACC. So, I'm expecting Jamie to be a factor. I don't know. So when I say X factor for me, it's a little tougher because I have a lot of expectations from those defensive players. Patrick Payton, I'll go Patrick Payton for me. Patrick Payton is a guy who, if you can get actual production from him, and he can be a legit 2-deep option in that rotation, he's an X factor.
Oh, I'm gonna change mine. Can I change mine? I'm gonna change mine. I said it on Twitter. I forgot about him. I said it on Twitter a while back. My sleeper on defense is McClendon. McClendon gonna be my X factor on defense.
McClendon.
Yeah. Because you kind of jogged my memory when you said when you talking about Peyton. I was like, hold a minute. I was like, my dude, McClendon. If we get something from McClendon, we'll be all right.
Yeah, see, a lot of you guys are putting X factors as like bona fide starters. Like Deloach was the best linebacker on the team last year. To me, he's just not an X factor. He's one of the factors. But that's just how I define X factor. You know, you define X factor as the best player on the team, then I get it. You know, I get it.
I guess I look at it too in a way. I totally understand how you're looking at it. I guess I look at it this way too. If that guy's not there, how much does that change the team?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
You can definitely look at it from that perspective.
Yeah. So like I say, if Robinson's not there at safety, what does that do to the defense? Or, you know,
it gets interesting. Absolutely.
Yeah. So maybe that's how we're looking at it.
That's a fair point. Do you pay attention to like these camps that's coming up in June?
Casually, I don't not a ton.
Yeah. I was just asking if you were looking forward to any of the visits that's coming up in June, anybody that you are really hoping FSU gets on campus, like any guys like that.
I don't follow it that closely. You know, I kind of just wait and see who shows up, and then I look at it and I say, oh, okay, you know, it's good that he came, or I'll notice that a certain player didn't come or whatever. That's kind of how I look at it. I'm looking at who they have scheduled right now for. I'm just talking about officials. I know we'll give guys on unofficial visits or whatever, but you know, I think the highest guy they have ranked is that's got an official is is it Falk, the defensive lineman? And I think he's ranked like 77th or something like that. Whoever it is ranked like 77th. So they got some guys scheduled, but they got a, you know, I just don't know where they are on the board with some of their targets. That's the thing. We just haven't, you know, they did a good job of getting the guys on campus early in the spring.
I think they need to hit it out of the park here in June.
Oh, they're gonna have to, no question.
If you want to ease my worries with the recruiting, I think you got to hit it out of the park. I'm not saying they got to get a bunch of guys to commit, but they need to. Guys are dropping their top 4 and 5. The FSU needs to be included in every single one of them because.
Well, look. Do you think? I almost think they do need to get a lot of these guys to commit.
You think I don't think they are going to.
I mean, I would. Well, not a lot of guys to commit. Not a lot of guys to commit, but I think. See, they only got 6 commits right now, right? Mm-hmm. I think like last year. You know how last year they kind of had some momentum and they had a nice little run and they got a lot of commits, and then they just basically had to hang on to them throughout the year.
Last year, I actually thought they did it perfectly.
Yeah,
they positioned themselves. They got a lot of guys to commit super early. Like you said, they just had to hang on to it. But they positioned them. Unfortunately, they weren't able to close. They positioned themselves. They had a decent year last year. They closed on some pretty good guys down the stretch.
Mm-hmm. Right. So I'm saying, do you think it'd be better for them to get guys to commit this summer, start out strong, and keep them, or get a lot of guys on campus? Don't necessarily get commits and then have a strong start to the season. And then hopefully, you know, that'll turn into some momentum and some commits. What do you think would be better?
I'd much rather them get guys to commit. I think it's easier to, granted, you never have to start recruiting them. Mm-hmm. I think it does say something when you already got a guy committed. You know, now how firm is the commitment? I mean, that can go back and forth or whatever. But, the problem is I don't know if they have anybody that's really on the commit. I think a lot of the guys FSU is targeting right now. I don't even think they've really gotten their recruitment started. Mm-hmm. I think these kids are taking it down. They're going to take it down to the wire. I don't know if there's anybody that's going to commit in June. I don't feel like there's any kid on the target list that's ready to, I could be wrong, but
yeah. Oh, looking at it, I was wrong. So the guy that was ranked in the 70s is Jordan Renaud. I don't know if I'm saying that last name right, but defensive lineman. Falk was number 111.
okay.
Both of those guys are out of state though. Renaud's from Texas, Falk's from Alabama.
Some of their biggest recruits are out of state.
Yeah, so we got we got Singleton, who's from Florida. We got Lucas Simmons, who's got an official schedule. That's somebody that might pop.
Simmons might be a guy that never doubt.
Yeah, that's somebody that might pop because I saw where he was like he expects to commit somewhere before the season, and FSU is his last scheduled visit. So I can see that possibly.
I won't put anything past Coach Atkins. He gets his hands on these kids. He usually gets them to shut it down. But outside of him, and then some of the biggest guys were after that 5-star out of Louisiana. These are good players, but how realistic is you're gonna go get the best wide receiver out of state of Louisiana?
Yeah, I don't like that. I mean,
I don't like it.
I saw they were offering these cats from California, and I was like, bro, right now I would just take every resource I had and dump it into Florida and Georgia. Maybe, Alabama, Tennessee, that little area there.
Pretty much.
Yeah. But I mean, spending all that time going, you can get a similar player in either of those two states.
Yeah, they got another kid that they're after in the North. I think he's from North Carolina.
Who, Sampson?
No, one of the top ranked kids up there.
Oh,
he's not committed yet.
Oh, okay.
But his top 4 is like North Carolina, Clemson, Florida State, and I forget the other one. And I'm like, so you trying to get the best player? And I think it was NC State. He's got all the Carolina schools in his top, and you want to go in their backyard and try to pull. I think we're putting ourselves in tough situations when there's a whole ton of talent in the state, and we don't, for whatever reason, seem to be in the mix for it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with you, man. I've been saying for the longest, I'm like, and they were doing a good job of getting offers out to all of the kids in Florida and Georgia in the cycle. I mean, the first 200 or so, I think like I had written about it. I think it was like 52% of them were kids from Florida and Georgia. But they just hadn't gotten the traction that they needed with those guys, it seems, for whatever reason.
Yeah, I think they got to hit the ball at the park in the month of June, the best they can, obviously. Then of course, once the season starts, that's really going to tell how they close. That's really going to tell how they close.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I Tyler. He says linebacker recruiting scares me. Yeah. Yep.
Absolutely. I'm cold. That and wide receiver recruiting is the scariest in my opinion.
Yeah, but the thing with wide receiver, we at least have 2 commits.
I just got to say maybe linebacker much more, because even though we are targeting making the top list for some top receivers, even if they are out of state. But at least we're in the mix. I can't think of I can't think of a linebacker, a good one, that's even considering Florida State right now.
And the one linebacker they have scheduled for an official is from California.
Sad part is they got one of the best ones in Tallahassee, and he's not even looking Florida State's way.
Yeah, apparently he wants to get out of Tallahassee from what people say, but
I guess.
I don't know, bro. I get it. What is it though, saying prophet doesn't prosper in his own land or whatever, but that's we've got a lot of top talent that just has gone elsewhere. I mean, look at Terry and Arnold. You got Makari Vickers over there. I mean, he hadn't gone anywhere yet, but I mean,
I think put us in his top 5 or something like. I know he just released the top something.
Yeah, he did.
Could have been the top 10 for all I know, but I know Florida State, was in the mix still.
I think it was top 8. I believe it was
8. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
These kids put out so many tops nowadays. I lose track of them.
I know. Yeah, so I don't know. We'll see, man. But yeah, linebacker, they gotta really step it up on that. And like I said, we'll see, man. I think they'll get a couple commitments this summer. I'm curious to see who it'll be, and who comes to campus. So we'll, maybe we can talk and as far as specifically recruiting in a month or two, and we can revisit this conversation and be like, we said, we needed to see who was going to show, and either they showed or they didn't.
No, absolutely. So Kelvin, unless you got anything else, we did a good hour and 30.
Man, that's crazy.
I told you it goes by fast, man. This live stream is a little bit different than the podcasting thing, man. That thing goes by fast.
Yeah, it does, man. Nah, man, I think we covered everything, man. I enjoyed it as always, and guys had some good questions, good feedback, good vibes. So yeah, I'm good unless you have anything else.
Peter Shields got another question, so I mean I'll take it. He says, "What's your starting five on the O-line?" I think I already said that earlier. That's like one of the first things we covered, but it's got to be my starting five is Robert Scott, Dylan Gibbons, Caden Lyles, Dimitri Emmanuel, and then Bless Harris, I think, is your right tackle. So I think that's pretty much penciled in at this point.
Yeah, that's it.
But that's all I got, man. Like I said, we did a good good hour and 30. And like I told you before, man, there's times I try to keep this specific show. I try to keep it because this is more of like I try to do this more often. But my Saturday lives, man, they can go for 3-4 hours. I just be out here talking.
Right. No doubt.
Again, I shot you the invite this time, and I figured I wanted to get your takes on some of this stuff. So I appreciate you for coming on again.
Yeah, man.
Like I told you, you got a free invite over here, man. Whenever you wanna hop on.
Yeah, man. I appreciate you, man. Definitely enjoyed it. Like I said, anytime you need somebody to talk with or whatnot. Yeah, I'm always down.
I think we got a good little chemistry that just get better as time goes on. So I definitely appreciate you coming over here, man, and spreading your insight. I appreciate it. I think people get tired. I think people might get tired of hearing just my points all the time. So I like getting other people involved.
Yeah, no doubt, man. But hey, look, man, I appreciate you, man. Y'all have a good night. Appreciate y'all tuning in. And go Noles.
Go Noles, man. Good night, Kevin.
Yep.
Here we are, another episode down the drain, man. Y'all put it in the comment section, man. Y'all like having Kelvin come over here and giving his own different. I feel like we agree too much. I feel like me and Kelvin agree too much. Gusami, you're late, bro. We done. We are done, homie. So you got to go back on the rewatch. But let me know, man. You can put a thumbs up in the comment section or just leave a comment on the video. Do y'all like having Kelvin over here? Y'all like the little different, different perspectives of it. Even though, again, I feel like we've just been agreeing on almost everything, which is kind of interesting. But as always, man, thank y'all for showing up. Hit the like. Let me check my likes. See, this y'all finna piss me off. Okay, 56 likes. Okay. I had to refresh it because I saw 17 likes. Y'all was about to get cussed out tonight. Good stuff, guys. 56 likes. 38 people still in here. So appreciate everybody that showed up. Appreciate everybody that showed up and showed out. Panama says, great show. Hopefully this summer we get more breaking news. We'll see, man. Mike King says once a month. Okay, so once a month. Again, it's the off season, guys. So I'm just trying to get the content back pumping. And then, just a different voice. So what's up, John White? How you doing? So we'll continue to do what we do. It's your boy Polk over here on 863 Seminole TV. I got this Heat game on. Look like Boston about to go up, 3-2. But it's only the third quarter. We still got a whole fourth quarter to play, and they're only up 9. But, excuse me. Stay classy, Seminoles. It's your boy Polk. I'm tired, y'all. I worked like 24 hours the other day. I'm tired. And this weekend, we doing triple shot again. So, Jerg and the guys will be back this weekend to talk about other stuff. But I appreciate y'all for coming in tonight, man. Y'all have a good night. And we out here. Go Noles.